The Wild Ninja here, and today we're taking a look at set 71848, the Temple Bounty. This is a huge Ninjago set. We're going to take a look at all of this, box included, so let's take a look at this amazing set. While we're taking a look at the bounty, the first thing that I want to mention is the reason why you can see the bounty sort of on an angle is thanks to this piece here. This piece we'll take a look at in a bit, but this is pretty much what helps the bounty stand in this angle. This is pretty much that stand that it sits on. It sits on this so it can sort of levitate up the bounty, but now let's take a look at it in the straight position. I think all the minifigs, we're going to pretty much take a look at the deck itself, and we'll take a look at individual parts, especially the inside later on. So starting at the front, we do have the common of the bounties, having the dragon. Now, if you've seen the leak show, obviously this head does go out to here and sticks out like the usual heads, but I think this is a perfect dragon design, especially for the head. I think this was used very well in this set. We have a little bit of a temple here, of course. We obviously have some stickers on both sides. These aren't stickers, but these are prints saying city temple or temple bounty. Really nice. We also have these nice like ghostly cloud pieces, which I think are supposed to represent the clouds. On the decks we have these lanterns as well. I'll quickly point out these lanterns are supposed to be spectral lanterns. Of course, the bounty isn't always going to be spectral as well, so you could definitely change them up. There is also one on the fins, on the top parts of the boat as well. You get some blue flames. What else do we have? We have one of the I was gonna say shattered crystals. The shattered spectral the spectral blades that they were collecting in, I can't even now remember the names, in the start of the season. We also have this top part. Well, we'll be able to take a look into it further, where it shows us the diner and all that stuff. We also have some fish, and then I think in this crate we also have something else. If I can get my hands to it. Yeah, we have like a pretzel in that, which is pretty cool. Then coming more along the sides, we do go into the main deck of the bounty, where we do have the control room, which I'll show you a bit later. And then up there, we do have the steering column, and we'll see this top part of the temple, of course, but temples are both reaching out on both sides. Now, to make the thruster work back here, we do have a little mechanism. So pretty much you turn this to your left to close it, and it closes up. And I love these felt pieces, are really cool, and on how they are pretty much done, and they open up at like so. These are really cool. I love these designs so much. They're unique, very different to what we've seen before, of course. And pretty much you can also see now the back, especially these ghostly clouds. You got some, we'll take a look at that telescope there. But yeah, so let's quickly take a look at each sort of partlet stuff on the back and work our way up from the deck. Sort of taking a look at some interior parts. So the back here, we pretty much have the telescope that we were seeing before, and we also have a ladder, of course, so your characters can climb up. Obviously, you can tell that we've got all these little labels that are everywhere in the set, lanterns. You got the steering column where you can put one of your characters. Really cool, really nice build. I love how also this top section is built. I think it's very unique for backing. Of course, the dragon body doesn't go around here, but they didn't even need to do this like little thin. It's just a perfect thing to also just add on here. And I just love how the connection of the sails are also, I don't know that since in Ninjago, I'm pretty sure it might say something like Temple Bounty or the Source Dragons or for the sources. But this was literally a nice side build. Now to take a look at the next section, let's see if I can take it off. Right, to take a look at the next section, which goes on top of the that goes on top of this part. So pretty much here, this is pretty much, you go in from the deck, you come into here, and you can use the reveal blade, which I'll steal off Cole quickly. And steal that off Cole, and you can sort of see that it's revealing a map of some sort. I'm not really a fan of the reveal blades the more further we go along on this. Obviously, we have a captain's log here, writing a letter maybe to Pixel. A telescope here to obviously peep out for some peeping toms. You can lift this here up and block the entranceway. And then it comes up with a control panel. Either that's back to front or that's how it told us to do it. That is referring to Zarkt here, how he's on board. It's interesting. You also have here a golden figure. A missed opportunity to put one of the ninja that wasn't in the set, maybe like Lloyd. Well, even, I would say Pixel, but Pixel was in one before, prior to all this collecting. And you got a noodle sort of place here, which is a reference to something else that you'll see a bit later on. Now, when you put these both on top, oh crap, I almost lost that. That would have been good. You pretty much sort of see how the temple looks. Let me show you later what the temple looks like without these fins on there. But yeah, it looks pretty nice. Now, while we're at the back section, I will show you sort of what's also in the temples. Now, what you can see right now is how the function of the gears work, as well as we have two things here. We have two beds where you can put two figs. On one side, I want to try getting this. I didn't think I could do it like this. You got one that has, I'll grab Chase Sword. You have just like a little reference 2011 with the alarm clock. It has 20 and 11. You can stick a figure here. And lay them inside the little, it's not obviously a mattress, of course, but like little beds or bunks, of course. You also have like this as the column place, like in Seabound, where you could see what's going on with the ship, pretty much. Over here, we do have Kai's Climamech, which I'm going to show you what this references to now, quickly. And we also have further here in the corner, like a little sweet treat. People are saying this is more for like Eren and Sora, even though they're not in these sets. Which does make sense. They are pretty much, these characters are definitely referenced here. I will show you where this sort of belongs in a different set, that little thing that I just had in my hand, which I'm going to find now, the Kai's Climamech little set, where this sort of, my Ninjago city is clearly taken up by a muck that's trying to be built, and also some Dragonians. Was Zane trying to take over? I don't know what's going on. But in here, we'll find out secret stash of what's actually the workshop sort of set. We had all these sort of mechs. We had from Nia's original mech to Lloyd's, Cole's, Jay's, Zane's. Now we're missing obviously a fire ninja. So this can easily be put here next to his sister's mech. So if we go as so. So just here. Let me just do that. If we just go like that. Maybe not. You can easily customize this so you are allowing the minifigs to be able to purchase one of these sets. So this is supposed to be a reference to that. Obviously, I'm not gonna get it to fit by the looks of it. But this is pretty much what it's trying to reference. I kind of ask myself now that I think about it, why these were put in the, in the shape that they are. But you can't really obviously fit that in the, yeah. His mech will not be joined alongside your brother. But you can obviously do customizations like that, where, yeah, Kai gets the set, gets a set, and it's new in the store. Really cool. Really cool functionality that they did there to promote a Lego set. And try taking a look at the middle section. So I'm going to try, just ripping this out. at the front. Nice. Just taking a look at that already. So what we're going to take a look at right now is just the inside, and we're just going to turn it over. So here we have like this restaurant place, and right here we obviously have Zane and Pixel. We have a little like car here. It's supposed to reference Lloyd's car from this year. Two chalices, and then on the side here we have Chin's Noodle House, a love heart. Obviously Kai is trying to love Skylar. Flowers, pretty much to remember Skylar, and a sauce dragon. We also have some tables and chairs for figures to sit down, have tea, have some sushi. Now on the other side as well, I'm going to quickly turn this around for you so you can see. You have sort of the exact same thing here. You pretty much have here the back sort of stage of this, which is pretty much like the sushi joint. I'm actually going to quickly check something on the box because I'm very curious if that's how it's actually supposed to look. Yeah, it is. I'm close playing the video. So obviously, here it is a bit like goes straight to the lower deck. But however, you have all your food sources here. You have a bit of a game that they were playing to figure out where Jay was, which is really nice. Thank God that piece has come back. We got some bottles, food. We have a little flower, a picture of Aaron and baby Ryu. We got some soy over here. Everything that pretty much you'll find in a restaurant. Also, this is pretty much Wyldfyre's place as well. Pretty neat to obviously have her there. Now, we're obviously going to go further into the temple. You might not see much because this part is going to be very hard to see. Pretty much if you do want to have when you get this set, you want to have a look pretty much inside the points. You just leave it this up and you can easily just look in, which is really sick. I like those pieces. Haven't seen them in any sets besides the 2016 Ejutsu Battleground set. It's really nice. Now, taking a look at this front section, which I'm going to rip this part off, and I'm going to have to show you that bottom section quickly first. Pretty much here, you can see there is the blacksmith shop. This can definitely be referencing the blacksmith shop's return in a set. We also have shurikens and a sword there. Now I'll go turn it again. Man's gonna go overboard. Yeah, so one of these minifigs are going to fall overboard. I didn't even mention that there were these hooks here. They're not movable. I think that's why they're so lacking, in my opinion. That's why I haven't spoken about them. Alright, then on the side here, we get like this monastery, I think everyone's just calling it at the moment. We get a sword for Lloyd, more katanas, and then we get a training dummy of Master Wu, which is prevalent majority of the time. We're going to now sort of wrap the whole look at the bounty up because we're finally on the final stage. This whole flat part here, that pretty much we see in the middle. Okay, I thought that actually lifted up. All of this pretty much has in it is a little, I think, telescope thingy where you put the telescope on top and you have a look at it. It's just pretty much supposed to be a walkway to get up, but there isn't that much of flight of stairs, so take that as what you would. But yeah, nonetheless, I think this is a very cool design. Now, I don't have every bounty, but I'm going to just refer it to the Dragons Rising one so far. So we technically have two on the market. Two Destiny's Bounties to compare this to. We have this to compare to the Legacy one, which has been sort of the main one for the show. I'm trying to put this back on. You can see my hair. We'll quickly just compare it to that. Because I think that's the most important thing to compare it to as well. That's all in. So to compare this to the Legacy one and then the actual other one that came out for Dragons Rising. Why do I feel like that's not in the right way? Yeah, that's better. Just put this down. So to compare this to both of them, I've got to say this one's probably my favorite out of all the Dragons Rising ones, but my favorite has to be the one from the Legacy line. Now, this is supposed to obviously refer to being one of the better Ninjago bounties. I would agree, but at the same time, I firmly disagree. I love the build and how different it definitely feels at points, but it does feel very repetitive. I'm expecting a bigger bounty in the future, especially if they do this for the 20th anniversary. I definitely think this has shown that there is improvements that they want to do. And I think the main thing that they've definitely learned, is how to make these a huge key feature and making these actually operate properly. I respect that this isn't now brick built, per se, making all this brick built and using Technic stuff. I respect that a lot. Now, is this worth $200? If you put in the time and effort, LEGO, which you kind of obviously did with this one, I would say yes, because to be honest, it does. It is definitely worth the $200 mark. Now, would I say this about usual LEGO sets like this? No. The reason why I say this is mainly because of a couple reasons. They avoided using a lot of stickers, for example, that one. I respect it. Now, if I compare this to a city set, which is worth half the price of this, do I find this worth it? I think, interestingly enough, yeah, because the build is unique for its point of view. Usual LEGO sets do not have this usual technique. Now, Destiny's bounties usually feel repetitive. Now, Dragons Rising's first Destiny bounty tried to do something different with the feature of the dragon. Did that work? Not in my opinion. I think that absolutely butchered it and didn't do it justice, because after you take that dragon out to just be a dragon, it's got a hole in the middle, and who wants a hole in their belt? This one does wonders, in my opinion. I think this works really well. Is it worth it? Sorry to say, but you're the only one who can say. I'll talk about minifigs next, because that may persuade your mind, but I wouldn't get a loose cannon on top of it, because there's not really cannon either. And the dragon head doesn't extend far. Let's take a look at the face. We'll start off with the two laziest sort of figures. Zarkt is a nice inclusion for the set. He does come in cheaper sets, so I wouldn't really go out of your way to get him here. An interesting fact, he does have a longer spear piece here. It also comes with his same dual side face. This is another way to obviously get Zarkt. Wyldfyre is just the usual Wyldfyre. Please give us a new one next year, please. Let's talk about Rogue separately, because I also want to just discuss a couple of things. Rogue is pretty much the same Rogue figure. Face-wise, he's pretty much the same. And same with every other detail. Now, this is a nice inclusion to get Rogue, but the question really stands is, why was this included in this set? Now, the whole thing about the set is interesting. The set was supposed to include Mora as well as Jay, because I understand the package deal of getting the exclusive minifigs in sort of two sets. I think it would have been worth more while to get Mora and Rogue in this set, and also then getting how's was it? Mora, Jay, and Zane in the set as the exclusives. Well, not really Jay, of course, but getting at least this variant of Jay, maybe giving us something different as well. But I suppose the leaks did say Mora was going to be in the set. I wonder why. I spoke about in a video of Mora being dead, why he could have been included in this set, but I wish he was. I think this would have intensified not buying the, not saying that it's a bad set, but buying the Dragonian Storm Village. I don't really think it's that worth it anymore. But yeah, hence that this is a cool way to get Jay. Also, he has these gold handles instead of black, which is interesting because could he be going to the light? Come to the light, Jay. Come to the light. To be wrapping the minifig styles up, we are taking a look at Cole and Nia. They come with katanas. We all know katanas. Let's not look at that with Zane, so I'm going to take that off before we see Zane. So, Nia and Cole, both not exclusive by technical fault. Depending on how you what you call exclusive. Obviously, Cole isn't. He comes in 2 sets. Nia comes in 1.5 sets, missing her armor piece, which I have to admit, the blue is not my favorite. Also, these dots are not my favorite on the Ninja. You can't actually tell it on this version for Nia, but they do look horrible. But the armor piece looks really cool. So the faces are pretty much the movie faces. Nia gets her core hair piece. So we're gonna pretty much take a look at the arm pieces. We'll actually do a separate video, because I'm gonna do a separate video where we talk about these figs a bit. So pretty much what we see here is pretty much it's got the I'll take these off as well for the time being. You pretty much got the same sort of Rogue X suit for the characters here, incorporating the same sort of design. Now, of course, you sort of have the whole stick of they do look similar to their core suits, especially for Kai and Cole. I just like the whole look of these suits. They seem a bit more unique than they should. They're definitely trying to mimic what Jay has. Definitely also trying to mimic a bit of what Aaron had did on his suit as well. But it is something that's unique and very interesting. I do want to quickly talk about the armor pieces here. I spoke about these in my other reviews at the start. These armors are unique, amazing, and exactly what we needed for this series. The aqua blue doesn't really fit well with the armor piece. I think gunmetal gray would have worked better. I'll explain why in another video. Why am I going to save it for another video? But I definitely think these suits are very captured well in the show. I like the suits a lot in the show compared to these sets sometimes. But these are definitely just like the Tornado Saucer suits, where they're very elegant, very expressed in the show. And I like that. I like that a lot. The exclusive figure here, which is Zane. Taking his weapons out. Taking his head out. Again, you can tell that Zane has sort of the same rogue-esque sort of suit, but unlike the rest of the ninja, you can see his core piece out as well. Definitely symbolizing Zane's whole stick. I don't want to keep dropping you. But really cool suit. Nonetheless, I really do like Zane's suit. It is unique and interesting. Now, this only comes in one set, which is the sad part. His armor piece comes in 2 sets in the Guardian Dragon with Master Wu. And Zane just comes with his normal head print from SOG. I'm hoping I do change this up a bit. I'm hoping to get this with these Dragons Rising face, with this back printing on the... I don't know why they haven't done that yet. The question really stands here, why did Zane only come in this set? Maybe because his suit doesn't exist, Wild Ninja. I would concur with you, my friend. That makes logical sense. It's just interesting how this is done. Again, I would have liked that exclusive face print. Something different here for Zane. But yeah, pretty cool that Zane's in here. Keep dropping him. But this is the only way you can get Zane unless it comes out in a magazine, which is highly unlikely. So for right now, he's going to be worth a pretty penny. Yeah, I bet it's pretty much you got the Temple Guardian set I'm building at the moment. Other stuff, paperwork. This comes with 2,387 pieces. Interesting. You can see all the minifigs there. How cool the bounty looks as well. Obviously, Nia's on the side, Sora's on the top with the Arc Dragon of Focus. The back of the box pretty much has here some elegancy. It looks really nice. And it is really cool to see this up close and in this show. It looks absolutely incredible. Everything's out on display here. Is this a good set? I have to say, yes it is. It is super cool. These are all the spare parts you get in the set pretty much. Nothing too interesting and peculiar. Maybe just this piece. But yeah, you get pretty much 2 spares. Which I found very, very interesting. But pretty cool. Now, let me know your thoughts about this set in the comments. I, for one, enjoy the build. I think it's very unique. Definitely one of the most different bounties that we've ever come across, but still, nonetheless, a good Destiny's bounty. In the comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching today's video. Peace out.